This is At the Public Library, the video source for news and information about the San Francisco Public Library System. Welcome to a special Brave Little Girls edition of At the Public Library, featuring an in-depth look at the Brave Little Girls exhibition and programming, featuring heroines in literature. All happening at San Francisco Libraries this fall. Check out Brave Little Girls at the San Francisco Public Library this fall. Hi, I'm Joan Lefkowitz with At the Public Library. San Francisco brings Brave Little Girls to the library this fall. This unique new series includes an exhibition and displays, a contest, a new website, lots of art, and a variety of programs at the main library and the branches. Here are some of the women who helped bring the Brave Little Girls exhibition to the library.
Here in San Francisco, the Brave Little Girls exhibition will be centered around the exhibition itself, which will be in the Jouet Gallery, which is at the lower level of the main library at Civic Center. And then the children's librarians here got very excited about what was in that exhibition, and they came up with a number of books that have been published oftentimes since that exhibition came into being. And they have put together a little over 40 titles of books that we will have on display outside the Children's Center in the cases. And then we have original artwork from some local artists. 3 are from the Bay Area, Carmen Lomas Garza, Min Pak, and Mira Reisberg. And 1 is from Los Angeles, Karen Winnick. And their artwork will be displayed along with the books that they're involved with in the Children's Center. The exhibition Brave Little Girls is coming to San Francisco from the National Museum of Women in the Arts from Washington, D.C. It's the second stop on its touring schedule. It went to Los Angeles first. It's here in San Francisco starting September 9th through November 30th, and then it goes to Denver, Colorado's main library. The exhibition has 58 children's books and 43 original illustrations. It was curated by Krystyna Wasserman, who is the Library and Research Director at the National Museum of Women in the Arts. And it didn't start out to be a traveling exhibition, but the interest level from other venues on this topic and the great books and illustrations that she pulled together just excited individual women in each community. There'll be children's activities from storytelling to art making to the artists locally that I mentioned coming in and working with the children, talking to them about their creative process and why they create, why they do what they do. Some of them are also author and illustrator, so how they come up with the stories for their books and so forth. And all of that will be happening throughout the main and the branch libraries. Project Vanderloop will be here doing an incredible aerial display outside of the main library. They will have sort of an aerial dance going on the Larkin Street side of the building. There will be a young rock climber, female, who will be joining them in this. So it's another way of showing brave little girls. Because the idea of the exhibit, bravery, is not just about the conventional ideas of bravery, although in the books some of the girls do actually save people. But it's a bigger idea of bravery. It's doing kind things and compassionate things. It's being passionate about what you believe in, whether it's girls who like bugs and girls who want adventure and girls who save the prince, or girls who just help out their parents by keeping the light on in the lighthouse when their father is delayed. Bravery takes many different forms and many different aspects, and that's really the heart of this exhibition. And the other part is that we want children and adults too to rediscover if they've forgotten or to learn if they didn't know before. Not just the joys of books and reading, but the whole creative process. That's why the whole idea of having the illustrations is there. working with the local artists and having their illustrations so that children can think of this as a fun way to express themselves and, if they like, a viable job option down the road. We also want people to think in terms of writing as something that they might be interested in doing on whatever level. So there's a lot of different ways that this exhibition can resonate with both adults and children. And even though the title is Brave Little Girls, it really isn't meant to ignore little boys. It really is meant to give them a way of looking at girls differently, a way of thinking about girls and their interactions with girls differently. I was just talking earlier today with a woman whose sons love Mirette on the High Wire, things like that, where the girls are doing sort of action adventure kind of things that we normally think of boys as doing. Boys will respond to that if you put it out there for them. So there's a lot of different ways that people can really have a good time in this exhibit. One of the things that Krystyna Wasserman, the curator, did was to try and choose, whenever possible, a couple of different versions of the same story. For instance, she has two stories about Harriet Tubman, one of which is done by Jacob Lawrence, who's an artist. The other is done by Faith Ringgold, also a visual artist, most known for her story quilts. And they have two entirely different ways of depicting Harriet Tubman, both equally wonderful, but their art style is very different. The story they tell, Faith Ringgold's story, focuses more, if you will, on kind of the wonderful imagination of children. In hers, the children literally fly. The Harriet Tubman's Underground Railroad is a real railroad to a certain degree, and it flies, and this is how they encounter Harriet Tubman. So it's a more fanciful, if you will, look at the story, but still the underlying seriousness of helping slaves escape and so forth are all there. Jacob Lawrence's book takes a more literal viewpoint of the story and tells it more true to life. The depictions, the illustrations and things like that are much more representative artwork, and the storytelling is not that kind of flight of fancy that Faith Ringgold does. One of the other programs that might be of particular interest to teenagers and their parents probably is that there will be a panel of teenage girls held here at the main library to talk about issues that teenage girls face, and this panel has been put together in part through Yo. So again, if you call Community Relations or check the Brave Little Girl website, you can find out the day, time, and more information about it. But it's one of the things that we wanted to do because we didn't want teenagers to feel they were excluded. The books themselves within the exhibition, Krystyna Wasserman had said that it was kind of geared towards the 8 to 12-year-old range. But the issues that it raises about self-esteem, being yourself, having fun with your peers and so forth, but also being an individual amongst them, really resonate no matter what age you are. And of course we know that teenagers in general have a particularly difficult time becoming who they want to be and remaining true to themselves. So it's great that we've been able, through the Teen Librarian Services, put on some programs specifically geared towards teens that we think they'll like and appreciate in conjunction with this exhibition.
I thought that very few museums and libraries do exhibitions for children. And children are little people, and they like when things are created just for them. And that was one of the reasons why this exhibition was created. But I think also we are a women's museum, and we are interested in issues which are close to hearts of women and girls. And we wanted to make an exhibition about girls of achievement and courage, and to show that there are many girls who are accomplished and brave, and perhaps inspire little girls to read and to write stories and to make pictures, and also to provide role models for these girls. I think it's important because many books in this exhibition reverse the roles which are traditional roles of women, and for example, the girls save the boys. And like in even Hans Christian Andersen stories like Wild Swans or Red Cloak, which you see here behind me. And they live dangerously, they do some wonderful things, and the exhibition shows that. We have many books about girls from many countries, and each of them is a very brave person and does something unusual. As you will see the exhibition, there are lengthy labels for every book, and it sort of summarizes the story, but it also asks questions, and they are interactive labels intended for children to sort of talk back to the books. And it worked very well because, you know, labels can be very boring, and I hope these are not very boring, and the people who give tours can really use them well to interact with children. It's an exhibition for little children from the age of 8 till 12, and we tried really to include children from all over the world. It's very international and it's very multicultural show, and I suppose that's part of my upbringing, that I was always interested in people in other cultures, and we have books from Norway, and we have books from Turkey, and we have books from England and France, and of course that's where these little girls are from, but I think a lot of people could identify with these books. And we also have books for the parents. You know, we have books like Little Women or Secret Garden, and books which are known by everybody. And the selection was really a difficult process because there are so many books published about, even now, about brave little girls.
My name is Grace Ruth, and I'm the Children's Material Selection Specialist at the San Francisco Public Library. And my role with the Brave Little Girls was to oversee making a complementary book list that would extend and expand upon the one that was done for the list, for the exhibit, and try to give some variety and an idea of what's in our collection that features girls. These are some of the books that appear on the San Francisco Public Library list. The first one is called Wilma Unlimited. This is by Kathleen Krull and illustrated by David Diaz. And this is the story of Wilma Rudolph, who became an Olympic track medalist, and she overcame polio as a young child, where she couldn't walk without a brace. One of my favorites is I Want a Dog. The story and pictures are by Dial Kaur-Khalsa, and this is a wonderful story of a girl who just more than anything wants a dog, and her parents say she's not old enough, and she decides that she will, by her ingenuity, prove to them that she's old enough to have a dog, and she starts pretending that her dog is a roller skate on a leash, and she takes the roller skate with her everywhere, and soon every child in her whole town is pulling a roller skate on a leash to show that they can take care of a dog. Wonderful, funny story. The Song of Mulan by Jean M. Lee is a Chinese legend. In this version, it's a translation of a poem. The story is told both in English and Chinese, and Mulan was a young woman who took her father's place and went into the army because he was old and he was being enlisted into the army, and she didn't feel that he should go. So she went and fought in his place for 12 years. In Music for Everyone by Vera B. Williams, a young girl named Rosa forms a band with 3 of her friends to help raise money to take care of her grandmother who's ill, because all their spare money in the family has gone to help care for the grandmother. And they've had a jar that people will know from A Chair for My Mother and other stories in the series, a coin jar that they fill up to have money to do things that they would like to do in the family. Saving Sweetness by Diane Stanley and illustrated by G. Brian Karras pokes fun at an old Western type story. And Sweetness is an orphan who can't stand the woman who's taking care of her, and she runs away into the desert. And the sheriff goes after her, but he thinks he's saving her, but in reality, she's rescuing him in every incident that happens in the story. It's a lot of fun. And one familiar oldie, but goodie, is Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell, a Newbery Award winner. And this is based on a true story of a young woman who was left behind on an island off the California coast, and she survived on her own for 18 years. And if some of you want more suggestions beyond the list that accompanies the exhibit and our San Francisco list, there are 2 new books out this year, one called Great Books for Girls by Kathleen Odeen, and one called Let's Hear It for the Girls by Erica Baumeister and Holly Smith. And both of these books are bibliographies which have descriptions of the books and give you suggestions for several hundred books that represent strong and intelligent females, both real and imaginary.
So here we are at the San Francisco Public Library's main homepage. And to get here, if you want to, from your home, you just type in sfpl.lib.ca.us. And from here, you can get information about the Brave Little Girls exhibit. And if you just page down, you'll see a link right here. That'll get you straight to the page. But also, if you're in the children's room, either at the Chinatown or at the main branch, you'll be seeing this page. So if you want to know how to get to the Brave Little Girls exhibit information from this page, we can just move down, and you can see we have here a link to our Girls Worth Knowing page. And this is our book list that we've created to go along with the exhibit. And down at the bottom, you'll see here is another link to the Brave Little Girls homepage. So you can get there from there too. And also our book list is broken up into 3 parts. So you can just pick picture books, middle readers, or older readers to get the list up. So as you can see, there's lots of great stuff on the webpage about the Brave Little Girls exhibit. So you should, if you want to get more information, you can go ahead and bring it up at home on your computer, and the address is nic.sfpl.lib.ca.us/blg/blg.htm.
So join us at the San Francisco Public Library this fall for the Brave Little Girls Gallery Exhibition in the main library from September 9th through November 30th. And for the San Francisco Public Library Brave Little Girls displays outside the main library's children's department. Or go online for book lists and all kinds of Brave Little Girls links. And check out a great variety of programs throughout the library system. There will be lots of Brave Little Girls children's programs taking place in October at branch libraries throughout the city. Megumi tells tales of brave girls around the world in English and Japanese at the Anza branch on Tuesday, October 14th at 10:30 a.m. Then she'll be at the Bayview Wadden branch on Wednesday, October 15th at 4 p.m. and at the Merced branch at 7 p.m. And on Tuesday, October 21st, Megumi goes to the Golden Gate Valley branch at 3 p.m. Word for word, Performing Arts Company presents an excerpt from Newbery Award-winning author E.L. Konigsberg's Jennifer, Hecate, Macbeth, William McKinley, and Me, Elizabeth, on Thursday, October 30th at 3 p.m. at the Anza Branch Library, and at 10:30 a.m. at the Visitation Valley Branch. The Bernal Heights branch welcomes Los Angeles author and illustrator Karen Winnick, who wrote Mr. Lincoln's Whiskers, for a presentation on brave girls, fascinating history, how a book is made, and Abraham Lincoln, all on Tuesday, October 7th at 2:30 p.m. Ms. Winnick will also be at the main library on October 4th at 2 p.m. and on October 6th at 10:15 a.m. She Was Courageous and Other Asian Stories will be presented by Ethnotech on Wednesday, October 29th at the Western Addition branch at 11 a.m., the Marina branch at 3 p.m., and at the Parkside branch at 7 p.m. Ethnotech will be at the Ocean View branch on Thursday, October 30th at 3:30 p.m. Come to the Merced branch on Friday, October 17th at 4 p.m. for Annie Oakley, Spirited Girl of the Wild West, Stories and Crafts. San Francisco Consort features music, songs, and games about England's Elizabeth I, the Brave Princess, on Thursday, October 23rd at 11 a.m. at the Presidio branch and at 4 p.m. at the Richmond branch. Then, on Saturday, October 25th at 11 a.m., they'll be at the Merced Branch Library. Sing along with Susan Peña and her family doing songs about brave little girls on Saturday, October 4th at noon at the Mission Branch Library. Also at the Mission Branch, author Lucia Corpi and illustrator Mira Reisberg read from and discuss their new bilingual book, Where Fireflies Dance, Ahi, Donde Bailan las Luciérnagas, on Saturday, October 11th at noon. On Saturday, October 18th at 4 p.m., the Potrero branch welcomes author, illustrator Marissa Moss, who wrote Amelia's Notebook. She'll lead the audience in creating a group story with different possible endings. Dynamic storyteller Diane Ferlat tells tales of brave girls, clever girls, strong girls at the Sunset Branch on Wednesday, October 29th at 7 p.m. Maxine Wyman performs stories of self-discovery and poetry in her program Singing the Poem, All You Need Is Who You Are, on Saturday, October 4th at 11 a.m. in the main library's Corrette Auditorium. Author and illustrator Min Pak will be at the main library's Children's Center on Saturday, October 11th at 2 p.m. to talk about writing her book, Aikung's Dream. Finally, the Northern California chapter of the National Museum of Women in the Arts will present Brave Art, Seeing and Doing, Art by Women, Art by You. The program for children 6 years and older will demonstrate how artists illustrate their life experiences in children's books and will be followed by a hands-on art project. Space is limited. Please call the branch for reservations. The series begins on Thursday, October 2nd at 3:30 p.m. at the Mission Branch and continues at the Merced Branch on October 3rd at 4 p.m. The Ortega Branch on Wednesday, October 8th at 7 p.m. Also on the 8th at the Western Addition Branch at 3:30 p.m. The Anza Branch on Thursday, October 9th at 3 p.m. The Chinatown Branch on Wednesday, October 15th at 4 p.m. The Glen Park Branch on Saturday, October 18th at 2 p.m. The Excelsior Branch on Thursday, October 16th at 3 p.m. And at the West Portal Branch on Saturday, October 25th at 1 p.m.
If you enjoy children and children's books and have a desire to help others, you may be interested in participating in the Book Buddies program. Trained by the San Francisco Public Library, Book Buddies are very special volunteers who bring stories, poems, and library services to children in San Francisco hospitals. Using a variety of techniques, including puppetry, felt boards, and music, Book Buddies offer comfort and support to hospitalized children. Book Buddies training sessions are given 3 times a year by the library's Office of Children's Services. The next training will be held on Saturday, November 1st, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Latino-Hispanic Community Meeting Room in the main library. For more information about this Friends of the San Francisco Public Library sponsored program, call Patricia in the Friends office at 557-4256.
Books, check 'em out. Books, check 'em out. Pick up a book. You got a fantasy, imagination can take you to where you wanna be. Are you curious? How can you find out? Books, check 'em out. Books, check 'em out. Read about stars and cars, play electric guitars, or cops that work hard, patrolling the boulevard, the heavyweight champ and his craziest bout. Books, check 'em out. Books, check 'em out. At your library.
Want to learn how to read? Want to help someone else learn to read? Contact Project Read of the San Francisco Public Library at 557-4388. Project Read is an adult literacy program that provides volunteer one-to-one tutoring for adult learners. Project Read's support of tutors and students includes tutor orientation and training, continuing education workshops for tutors and students, reading diagnostics for students, family programs, and referrals to classroom instruction at community college centers and to other agencies in the community. There are many ways you can help adults achieve their personal reading goals. Call Project Read to find out how. Learn to read or be a reading tutor. Phone 557-4388.
Friends for Life volunteers bring the riches of the San Francisco Public Library to people who can no longer visit the library themselves. Friends for Life volunteers provide a link between the San Francisco Public Library and people with AIDS or HIV disease. If you would like to be a Friends for Life volunteer, or you are in need of the services Friends for Life provides, call 557-4352 for more information.
Thanks for watching At the Public Library here on City Watch Cable Channel 54. You can catch At the Public Library Monday mornings from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. and from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. Friday evenings from 8 to 9 p.m. and Saturdays from 12 noon to 1 p.m. See you next time.